I've been needing a trailer for a while. Not a car trailer like the one I used to have, but I've got a riding lawnmower back in there. I take back and forth to storage because I don't have enough room to put it in the garage. And then went and got this ATV so I could plow snow up here, which it's turned out to be great at. But I needed, I can drop that plow now and take it up into the high country and go places I couldn't go when there's 100 inches of snow in January. So I found this trailer for sale, about 1.5 years old, really well made. Retail price on it's about $1,400 plus tax and license, and it's a side loading trailer. It isn't exactly what I would have gone out and bought. I just needed a regular utility trailer. The guy made me such a good deal on this. He needed a bigger trailer for snowmobiles. So it's unique in that these ramps come off. There's pins, and these ramps lift out of here, and they hang on the side of those rails. I'd never seen rails like this before, and you can drive ATVs side by side up onto this trailer. So you can get, at least 2 full-size ones, maybe 2 in a motorcycle. It's 10 feet long and 6 feet wide. Got about a 3,000 pound rating. I mean, but this guy might have used this, got, I don't know, 500 miles. I mean, these are the original tires. They're like new. Absolutely no rust on this thing. And you really can't go wrong with Big Bubba's Trailer Manufacturing in Utah. I mean, you just can't. Why bother trying? Anyway, so I got it, but the thing is that I want to use it as a regular utility trailer, and I'm used to having this rail that runs the length of it so that I could set something on here and strap it down and it won't fall over. And these rails don't really lend themselves to hauling that kind of stuff. You'd be hard-pressed to even put firewood on here without making some type of plank or something to cover this up with. So I got to thinking about the way that this system works for taking the ramps in and out, and I thought of an idea for adding some detachable rails to this trailer. And so that's what this video is about. So this is what I came up with for the rail. This is 2x2 square tubing, 3/16 wall thickness. I wanted it to be heavy enough that I could set things across the trailer if I wanted to. Maybe, something a little bit wider, because heck, I've got out till here before the fender and the wheel. That's probably a foot of overhang, off this rail here that I could come out if I wanted to. And I just pocketed both ends of it with this 2-inch by 3/16 flat plate. These are 2 3/4 inch long, and I just welded them on 3 sides. As you can see, I drilled the hole so I can use the same pins that hold the ramps in. And then underneath, I just cut a small piece that's about 1 inch, and that caps that off. And that's secure enough for anything that I'm going to do with it. But what concerns me is I've got 10 foot of that just going straight across there. So if I ever did want to set anything on it, I could bend that if it was too heavy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in 2 legs or posts going down from that to the frame of the trailer, and I've got some little pockets that those can set down into. Those will also have the safety pins go through them. So then you'll have to pull a total of 4 pins to pull out each rail. But the only thing that'll be left bolted to the trailer is this flat plate, and that shouldn't be in the way of anything. And if it is, I'm going to bolt it. So come on, focus camera. Okay. So the pieces are going to be a little bit bigger than this, and they're going to be 1/4 inch thick by 2. And I'm going to drill a hole in each side with the cup here in the middle, and then I can unbolt them if they get in the way of anything. But they're not gonna stick out beyond the actual frame right there, so I can't imagine that they'd get in the way. So that's the next thing I'm going to do, is make 4 legs for this that weld onto the upper rail that I've made and go down into the pockets that I'm going to make for the trailer. Four brackets made for holding the legs on the rails. They're tapped or drilled for bolting down to the frame, and then they've got 1/8 inch holes through both sides as a pilot hole to go through the leg for the safety retaining pin. So this is where they're going to locate on the trailer. About 40 inches in. This is a 10-foot piece, so 40 inches in from each end will give me 2 legs. This one's just before the fender, so the retaining pin will still slide through there and not hit the fender. Now I just have to measure the distance from there to the upper tube, cut some legs, and get them fitting in there good. So with 4 legs cut, ready to be welded onto that top rail, I am ready to go do some welding. And a quick update on this trailer. I was hoping that I was going to be able to get inside this is 2 by 4 inch box tubing, but I thought it was channel, but it's fully enclosed, and there's no way for me to get any bolts, or nuts for the bolts that I'm going to be using to bolt the receivers down for the legs on this rail. So I went ahead and welded on 1/4 inch plate by 2, and then I drilled and tapped through that for the bolts. That gives me almost 3/8 of an inch of threads, about the same as a nut. And I'll just put some NICs on those bolts, and with lock washers. Got them right here. I tapped that out at 5/16 24, so it's a finer thread, and that should be fine with the lock washers that I have to hold these receivers in place. And that's just what I ended up having to doing because this part of the trailer just didn't have the thickness to it that I thought it did, and I was gonna just drill and tap it by itself, but I don't think that would have held up long term. I'm going to do a quick wrap-up video on adding rails to this side-loading ATV trailer. So I can still pull all the pins that there's 4 of them now instead of 2 on these legs. Got those receivers bolted down. That came out really nice. And then another one up here. So there's 4 on each side, total of 8 pins. And these lift right out. And then you can side load using the ramps in the front and back. You can still side load ATVs, but also you can use this as what I would call a normal utility trailer. So it was an interesting project to do with varying thicknesses of metal welding, especially the receivers attachment plate that I threaded with the 5/16 24. This is very thin, and this was a 1/4 inch, and so I had to find just the right heat setting so that I didn't blow through that frame, but I got good penetration on both pieces. So pretty happy with the way that came out. So that's a wrap for that. Thanks for watching. Leave any comments or questions below.